Today we will be discussing about the various process in a data science project. Whenever you plan to implement a data science project, you have to go through these steps. Let's take an example of building a heart disease prediction model and see how these steps helps in building the first step in any data science project is business understanding. Every data science projects are implemented to provide solution for business problems. Understanding your problem statement is the first step. In our example, building a heart disease prediction, which helps the people to predict whether a person will have heart disease or not, is the problem statement. So, in this step, you should have a clear understanding about what is your project and how you are going to implement your project. The second step is data collection or retrieving data. Okay, so data is the main ingredient of any data science project. So collection of the appropriate data for your problem statement is the important step in the data science project, right? So data can be stored in any form, like it can be stored in a text file, or it can be stored in an Excel file, or tables in a database, or your data can be available as any unstructured form like images, videos, signals, or like emails. Your data can be available in any social media networks, right? So it can take any form. Okay, so in our example, our data is related to healthcare, right? So you can collect your data from hospitals, or you can collect your data from clinics, or you can use any websites for collecting the data. You can use the websites like Kaggle, you can use the websites like UCI Machine Learning Repository, or you can use the websites like data.gov. Okay, or you can create some Google forms and circulate with your friends and families and collect the data. Okay, so collecting the appropriate data for your problem statement is a very important step in any data science. While building a heart disease prediction model, your data should have features like age, gender, cholesterol, blood pressure, diabetes, etc., right? The next step is data preparation or data pre-processing. Usually data pre-processing comes with three different steps like data cleansing, data integration, and data transformation. Okay, so let's have a look at these steps in detail. Data cleansing basically deals with removing errors in your data. The error may be due to data entry, or it can be human typing errors. Okay, so all those errors has to be removed. So next thing is you have to check for the duplicates in the data. So and it has to be removed. Okay, the most important thing is you have to check for the missing values and you have to handle the missing values. Okay, there are various methods for handling the missing values. So one such method is dropping the missing value. Okay, so there is an disadvantage when you go for this dropping the missing values. So for example, if there is a missing value for feature blood pressure in row 5, so while you are dropping the particular row, you will be losing all the information with respect to all other features, right? So when you are going with this dropping the missing value, there will be definitely information loss. So next method of handling the missing values, you can set a constant value for the missing values. You can set 0, or you can set any other numerical value for the missing values. Okay, so the next method is you can replace your missing value by means of mean or mode or median. Okay, so this is an important method of handling missing values. Or you can go for forward filling techniques or backward filling techniques. Okay, in the upcoming classes we will be discussing about these techniques in detail. The next step is data integration. Usually data comes from different sources, right? So the size, type, and structure of the data might be varying, right? So in order to build a data science model, you need a single data, right? So all these data has to be integrated or combined into a single data. So this happens in this data integration step. Okay. So in our example, we may collect our data from hospitals, clinics, or you may be collecting it from websites, right? So the data may be available as Excel file, or it may be available in database, or it can be a text file. So all this data has to be joined together or integrated together as a single data file, right? So this happens in this step. In data transformation, you will come across data encoding as well as data transformation. In data transformation, you will come across data encoding as well as feature scaling, which is also known as feature normalization, right? So data encoding is nothing but a process of converting categorical features to numerical. Okay, so methods like label encoding, one-hot encoding, etc., can be used for data encoding. In our example, the feature gender is a categorical feature and it has to be encoded before applying to the machine learning model, right? So bringing all features to the same range is nothing but feature scaling. You can use methods like standard scaler, min-max scaler techniques for performing the feature scaling. Okay. So in our example, blood pressure, cholesterol, age. So these are the numerical features and all those features will be in different ranges, right? So before applying the data to the machine learning model, definitely you have to perform this feature scaling. Another thing is whenever you are going for building a machine learning model or a data science model which is using any distance related algorithm. So this feature scaling method is mandatory for all the distance based algorithm. Moving on to the next step, which is nothing but exploratory data analysis or EDA. Okay, so this step helps you to find any anomalies in your data or outliers present in your data. It even helps to discover the patterns in your data, and it helps you to test your hypothesis with the help of statistics as well as graphical representation. Okay, so outlier coming to the point, outlier is nothing but any data point which lies far away from your other data points. For example, let's consider the feature blood pressure in our example. Okay, so normally we know the blood pressure normal range of blood pressure is nothing but 80 to 120. Okay, so if you find a value like 1,20,000 in your data set, so it can be a outlier, right? So normally blood pressure will not have a value like 1,20,000, right? So these are considered as outliers. Okay, so this outliers can be detected by means of EDA. You can use a plot named box plot for finding the outliers. Okay, so next method for which is performed in EDA is correlation. Okay, so you have to find the correlation between the features, and it is highly recommended to use the features which are highly correlated with your target. Okay, okay. So whenever you are building a model, you do not want to use the features which are highly correlated among themselves. And a simple example is if you want to build a model for predicting the weight based on height, and if you are having two features, namely height in centimeter as well as height in meters. Okay, so the correlation among these two features will be very high since these two features are providing you the same information, right? So in order to use these two features for predicting the model, you can go for a single feature, right? So this can be done with the help of correlation, and you have various uh, graphical methods and various statistical methods for finding correlation. You can find the correlation with the help of heat map. You can go for correlation plots. Okay, so all these steps takes place in exploratory data analysis. Step is nothing but the heart of our data science projects, which is nothing but data modeling or building the model. Okay, so in this step we are going to apply the machine learning algorithms. So based on the problem statement which you are using, you have to choose your algorithm. Okay, so coming to our example is nothing but a prediction of heart disease, right? Which is nothing but a classification algorithm. So you have to go for any classification algorithm like logistic regression or decision tree or KNN or random forest, right? So choosing the right algorithm is the main important thing in this step. Okay, so before building the model, you have to split your data into training data as well as test data, right? And you have to build the model on the training data set. Once the model is trained, you can use the model for test. So the next step is model evaluation. So in this step, we are going to evaluate the performance of the model, right? So when the model is built and it is ready for testing, you have to definitely check for the performance of the model, right? So you have to check whether the model is giving you good result, good prediction, right? So you have various methods for checking the performance of the model. So if you are using any regression algorithms, so you can check the performance of the model by means of mean squared error, mean average error, or you can go for R squared error, right? So if you are going for using any classification algorithms, you can check the performance of the model by means of confusion matrix, or you can go for accuracy. Okay, so these are various methods for evaluating the performance of the model. Okay, so once the model is very good in performance, so once the evaluation is done, so you can move on to the next step, which is nothing but model deployment. You have to keep on checking the performance of the model. So only if the performance of the model is good, you can go for model deployment. Okay, so in case if the performance of the model is not good, you have to repeat all these process again. Right from data collection, you have to collect more data, you have to do more pre-processing, and you have to tune your parameters of your machine learning model, or you can use some other machine learning models. Okay, so till the performance is good, you have to repeat this process. So once you get a accurate performance of the model, you can go for the deployment. Okay, so deployment in the sense, you can provide the model for the users. Okay, so you can use any, you can deploy the model using AWS, or you can use Microsoft Azure, or you can even go for Heroku for deploying your model. Okay, so even after deployment, you have to keep on watching the performance of the model. Okay, so for various months, you can watch the performance of the model, and once you have to collect the feedback, and you have to keep on tuning your model. Okay, so that's all. So these are the various process in any data science project, or you can simply say it as data science life cycle. Okay, so that's all. Thank you.